Hello, we want to briefly share God's Word with you as we continue to read through the Bible. Previously, we mentioned the story of Ruth, the gorgeous story in literary form and meaning that occurred during the dark days of the Judges. This time in our summary, Hannah finally had a son, Samuel, whom she vowed to dedicate to the Lord. After she weaned him, she brought him to Eli the priest to stay. Eli had two wicked sons in the priesthood who acted more like gangsters and thugs. A man of God came to Eli and prophesied against the house of the Lord. The Lord made first contact with Samuel, calling him in the night and confirming what the man of God prophesied to Eli. The Lord was with Samuel as he grew up, and let none of Samuel's words fall to the ground. The Philistines and Israelites fought, and Israel decided to bring the ark of God into the battle. The Philistines captured the ark, and when Eli found out about it and that his two sons died, he fell backwards dead. All the time that the ark was in Philistine possession the first time, the Lord dealt with the Philistines, so much so that the Philistines decided to send the ark back to Israel. Israel decided to return to the Lord and to put away their foreign gods. While Israel was confessing their sins before the Lord at Mizpah, the Philistines decided to attack. But that day the Lord thundered a loud thunder against the Philistines and threw them in such a panic that they were routed before the Israelites. The mysterious seer of Israel, Samuel, grew old, and despite his warnings, the Israelites asked for a king. The Lord foretold that Samuel would meet a Benjamite named Saul, who he is to anoint king over Israel. Samuel meets the tall, dark, and handsome Saul and anoints him. The next day, Saul is introduced as king of Israel.
You know, this book of Samuel has a lot of themes in it, one of them being idolatry. We see idolatry, and God, nothing can stand against him. Everything has to bow before him. And you see the Philistines' idol Dagon fall before him. You see the house of Eli fall because they did not acknowledge God. And you also see that the Philistines themselves fall to sickness because they don't acknowledge God.
Okay. Why was it wrong for Israel to ask for a king?
Oh, because they rejected God. Because when God said, I want to be the one that you go to, I want to be your authority, they said, no, we want a king instead. We want somebody else to rule over us. And God is a loving God. He'll let you choose things that are outside of his will in order to bring you back into his love. And sometimes that's harsh love. Sometimes those are consequences. And so for example, if you're choosing a mate and you're trying to decide who to marry, God will allow you to marry whoever you choose. But the consequences of marrying that person can affect future generations depending on if it's God's best for you or not.
Share us, subscribe, and/or say amen at the YouTube section below. Thanks for having us. See you next time.